Welcome to the session, and I'm your host, just some guy named Jay, like I've always been. And in this edition of the session, we will interview North Carolina-based hip-hop recording artist Ghost Dog. Ghost Dog will join us to give us his opinion on the indie music scene here in North Carolina and to talk about his latest single, Way of the Ninja, among many other things. Now, I want to let everyone know before we start the interview was pre-recorded and it was recorded at a much earlier date. And in the interview, we talk about some upcoming show dates and upcoming things and things like that hadn't happened yet. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to release the interview until after those dates had passed. So just excuse that. And I also want to say, just excuse my voice. During the interview, I was a little under the weather. However, I wanted to record the interview at that time, regardless of the status of my health. So just bear with me. I sound a little scratchy, but that's all good. There's a lot of great information and a lot of good content, a lot of good things that's being said between us on the interview. Ghost Dog really gets into it about why he believes that the music scene in North Carolina, the live nightlife music scene, isn't really thriving like other cities and other states. So we get into all that. Also, if you want to get into the discussion, post your opinions down in the comment section below. Before we start the interview, I also want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, the Lucky Panda Adult Arcade. The Lucky Panda Adult Arcade is located at 2610 Clemson Avenue, Charlotte, North Carolina. The Lucky Panda Adult Arcade has sweepstakes games, skill games, fish games, and more. You can win big at the Lucky Panda, so you can come out and win big money at the Lucky Panda Adult Arcade. Again, located at 2610 Clemson Avenue, Charlotte, North Carolina, right off the Plaza. All right, let's get it started. All right, you're listening to the session with some guy named Jay, and we have Ghost Dog with us. How you doing, Ghost Dog?
Doing good, man. How you be?
Man, I'm always doing great, man. I'm always doing great.
Respect.
Oh yes. Now, before we start the session, you have a single out right now called "The Way of the Ninja." Could you tell the listeners a little something about that? Who you worked with? How does it sound? And where can they find it?
Okay, so Way of the Ninja, that's a single off my most recent solo LP. Because I do solo work. I've been doing solo work for probably about 15 years. I'm also part of a crew called Phantom Blade. We just dropped a new album recently. But Way of the Ninja is off of Dreams of One December. That's my most recent solo LP. It's produced by Manifest Beats. It's got my homegirl Liz, who is a phenomenal singer, and she does a thing on the rounds too. And yeah, man, it's all about basically, man, any kind of anime head or person who watches any kind of anime, Japanese animation. It's about Naruto, man. It's a series that I really dig. I watched it, the first arc, Naruto. I watched Shippuden. I'm actually about to finish up Boruto, which is actually about his son, so I might be into it a little bit. It's got a lot of cool kind of concepts, and, when you talk about the ninja kind of lifestyle and the kind of ninja magic they do and stuff like that, it translates really well to, storytelling in round form, so to speak,
Ah, yes. Oh, yes, it's definitely, the song is, definitely influenced by the anime and the fighting and stuff like that. Now, before we really get heavy into the session, what anime is hot right now? Yeah, pretty much all.
What's hot right now, or you mean what's some of my favorites? Because those could be two completely different things.
Yeah, let me switch the question up. What's hot for you? What's you feeling right now?
Oh, my favorite would have to be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Another one of my favorites is also one that's kind of obscure. It's called Gungrave. And it's kind of crazy, man, because it's not based. A lot of times anime is based on a manga. Like the Japanese comics. This one is one of rare occasions where they created a comic for a video game that came out years and years ago, and it just turned out that that comic was doper than the damn game. Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. It's called Gungrave. It's real dope, man. Real heavy.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also like One Punch Man, Attack on Titan. Those are some other good ones. Man, I've seen season 2. I'm actually about to pick up the video game for Attack on Titan 2, see what that's about. So.
Okay. Now, see, we gotta get one of these tracks, one of these joints you dropping on one of the animes or one of the video games or something like that. It's gotta go on there, man.
Bro, like I would die if there was some way to get Way the Ninja on something Naruto related, man. That would be probably like some bucket list type ish right there, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I honestly feel like it does the actual subject matter justice. You know, like sometimes people will do something based loosely, like they'll do a concept track. You know, it'll be supposed to be about like the anime or the game or something like that, but they might just use the words. Now I go into like the actual concepts. You know, like the pictures I'm painting. Anybody ever watched the series, man, if they heard that track, I feel like they would really feel like I did the subject matter justice. So if that was something that could happen, that'd be real dope.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's we gotta put that into existence, man. For real, we gotta do something.
Speak it and see what it take to manifest it, you know.
Oh yes, definitely. Now let's get into the meat of this session. You know, one of the reasons I brought you on is because stemming from a previous conversation we had, in Facebook, you aired out some grievances about the local Raleigh scene, hip hop scene, and this has been a conversation between like many artists throughout North Carolina. I don't think South Carolina talks like this because it seems like I don't know about other states, but it seems like even Utah has a more dedicated hip hop scene than North Carolina. Now I know people talk about the Justice League did this and J. Cole did that and blankety blank. I'm not saying we don't have talent. I'm not saying that for the people listening. I'm not saying we don't have talent and we don't have great people to come out of here. Little Brother, Knife One, whatever. But that's not the thing. They pretty much had to blow up outside of North Carolina, or they had to do it an alternative way. I
was just about to say that it's not that we don't have the talent. Even the people you mentioned, Little Brother, you talk about J. Cole, and Supastition and cats like that. It's like it's not that we don't have the talent. The people in North Carolina did not acknowledge them or recognize them until they went elsewhere and made it happen.
Exactly, but it's like it seems like the hometown heroes in other places and other markets, their whole city gets behind them, and it makes the industry look at them. Whereas North Carolina, they have to travel and get love elsewhere.
And I don't even know that's limited to North Carolina. I almost feel like that's a universal thing for anybody that blows up out of the spot, because I learned that it's not even just that, because once they do, it's almost like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because it's like cats will not jump on board until they deem that you have so-called made it already. They will, if you're doing your thing consistently, doing something dope and you see it's positive or talented or whatever, but it doesn't already have the million likes or, going viral or all that. It's like people might not jump on board. On the flip side, once you do get to that level, a lot of times when cats come back to their home, like people try to kind of shun them, or might not represent them the same way. Now, I don't even know if it's like that everywhere though, because I know like Atlanta, I know in parts of Charlotte, man, like here in North Carolina, there are some dedicated scenes. Now, we talked about this before. It might have took them 10, 15 years to get that dedicated following or consistency or whatever, but more or less, like if somebody comes out with something or if there's a dope show going on, like cats show up, like just all gay. Like in Atlanta, I was just talking to DJ Damu about this like probably about a couple weeks ago at the show. He just got back from Atlanta, and anytime anybody in Atlanta has a show, the whole hip hop scene stands behind it. and bigs it up and puts it in the spotlight or whatever. Here, man, in a lot of parts of North Carolina, I can't say it's a little cliquish, man. People click up if you're not directly attached to the cool kids or whoever is deemed acceptable or whatever. If you're not like, or if it's not you and your crew or something like that, man, you can almost forget it as far as people like actually genuinely supporting. But that's why you can't rely on the artists, really, man. You really got to find the music lovers, the fans, people that like the music, that would just come out regardless just so you can see a good show.
Oh yes. It's based on what you just said. It's a couple of things I want to talk about. Branched off from that, I even want to talk about Supastition, but sure. I don't know where to start. I'm here in Charlotte, and it's pretty much the same here too. Like I say, you got to click up. You got to get with the people that are popping or whatever. What I do is I work as a publicist. I offer PR services for artists and things like, not just artists, but, businesses as well. And my experiences with, doing things primarily online and actually getting out of Charlotte and doing things, I get more clients and things outside of Charlotte or outside of North Carolina than I do in Charlotte. And when I do get the Charlotte clients, it's more because they've heard of me from stuff outside of Charlotte,
Right, exactly, man, exactly. And it's like I was saying before, like same thing with me because like I get a lot of love when I go on the road. And here, when I come back here, it's almost like I get lip service here. It's like, yo, man, I see you doing your thing, this, that, and the third, but I guarantee you those same people might not show up at the show. So it's not people gat you, but at the same time, it's like people notice you. So it's like that kind of like you're saying, I might have to go. I'll go do like a New England run, or for example, we're about to hit Florida and New Orleans for this year for the tour. I got to leave in probably about a week for Building Bridges tour. It's like my 5th year doing it. Now, whenever I do a show out of town, you just get me in front of some people and I do my set, and they don't know me from Adam, and it's like you get a true gauge of what you're doing, and it's been all positive, man. I don't have to worry about the politics, because that's what I hate, man. I hate the politics. I like this rocking stages. I like writing songs, and I like connecting with people on some genuine shit. I don't like having to play politics and, worry about whether I'm going to catch a screw face or this, that, and the third because I'm not part of their clique or they might feel... I don't know. I think it's insecurity, man, because I really feel if you're confident and comfortable in your ability, whatever it is, whether you're doing PR, whether you're doing art, hip hop, whatever art form, or whatever you do to represent your creative endeavors, man, if you're comfortable and confident in that, then you could be a fan of other stuff and not feel threatened. And that's what I feel like a lot of times, man. People just afraid to be fans or afraid to just acknowledge something that is not theirs, like it somehow would diminish what they are, and it shouldn't even be like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and I also believe too that a lot of people when you're local, I think a lot of people they can't see big things for themselves because they're in a certain city or a certain area, so they can't see it for other people too. I think sometimes it's not necessarily a personal hate. It's like you're here with me, so you're not gonna blow up, or I'm not gonna go to your show because it's just the same old thing and and when you get that love outside and it travels back, then they start to look at you like, oh, you're official now. So I mean, it's like, yeah. That
I honestly believe that. I also believe something that the brethren Cesar Comanche said to me on numerous occasions, and actually I tuned into. I don't even listen to Lil Boosie's music, but I saw an interview he did about why some people have left their hometown and didn't really look back. And it is the same thing. Like he got a head on his shoulders. I don't really mess with his music, but I can't say that interview is speaking the truth.
Yes.
It's like because it's like people, like I said, man. The minute you are no longer a local rapper, that's when everything changes. And I can actually say I've seen that. It's like the minute you start doing things, you start focusing on a global market, you start doing shows like out of state, out of town, or anything like that, and you no longer look at trying to compete with being the big fish in a small pond. You're just like trying to reach people, period. The minute you become more than just a local rapper, man, that's when people start to look at you funny, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I know that Little Boosie interview. He did it with Vlad TV, I believe, if that's the same one.
Say again?
He did that interview on Vlad TV.
Yeah, that was a Vlad TV interview.
Yeah, and he said that they start hating and stuff, you know. So yeah, you don't even have to be.
And that Cesar said it, man. Lil Boosie said it, man. Cesar singing with Justice League and like Lil Brother and stuff like that. You know, and yeah, I've seen it like on a smaller scale because I'm definitely not on the level, but I've definitely seen it because the minute I went from, I used to do Wednesday Night Live with the Tribe for 3 years. I did a bi-weekly, like a show, like twice a month. And I would put everybody on from North Carolina, all over North Carolina. You know, a lot of people be like NC Hip Hop, but they just talk about their camp, or they just talking about their city. I say NC Hip Hop because I had cats from Charlotte, Wilmington, Greensboro. You know, like everywhere in between. I had people from, I called it regional because I had Poe Mac coming down from Virginia. I had people coming up from South Carolina. So, I mean, like anybody I have met over the years that did dope music that I thought people needed to hear, I put on, and I paid every single person to touch the stage, and it was all love. And it would get upwards of like 100 people in some time, you know, 100 or so, maybe even more. And, you know, the last show that we did, man, M1 from Dead President came through on word of mouth. I didn't even expect that. Yeah, so I mean, like, so I did that, and it was all love. I did shows around Raleigh, it was all love. But, man, no sooner than I start hitting the road, man, a lot of that love vanished real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick. So, I mean, I can say I've seen that on a smaller scale, man. Like, people, I don't understand the psyche behind it or psychology behind it, but yeah, people do tend to start hating, man, when you start getting, expanding your boundaries.
Yeah, they
even if you still show love, you know, it don't matter.
Oh yes, they certainly do. Yeah, now I got some points I want to bring up, a lot of them actually, and one of the things I want to say, and I want to start with this one too. I want to start with this one. It may be the toughest one for me to say, because this is something I've been thinking about for a while. Superstition. I guess he goes by Kam Moye, right? Or Kam Moye now, or his name?
Yeah, that's the government. That's the government name.
Yeah. Shout out to Superstition. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, he's cool. He's cool people, man. I know him personally, man. Like, that Cesar's tour bridge, but also me. We got circles that overlap because I got a lot of good friends in Charlotte, and like, you know, years and years ago, man, when I was probably still working on my first or second album, man, because I got like 6, 7 projects out now, man.
Oh yeah.
But we're just chilling after a random show, me and my friends, and I just so happen, man, I'm chilling in a 24-hour Amelie's, 24-hour bakery type joint, and like we're just like over there just relaxing after the show, and turns out, man, I've been kicking it for like probably about an hour. And find out after the fact that I've been chilling with Superstition, man, you know, but at this point, I just know him by Cam, you know, and ever since then, man, like, we've just been cool, you know, like, not on some where we keep in touch type stuff, but every time he's in town and, you know, say I go to a show or something, he definitely recognizes me, you know, as we catch up, he asks how I've been doing all this, that, and the third. I mean, like, we cool, you know?
Yeah.
And then it turns out he's brethren with my tour brethren, so, I mean, it's like, you know, small circles overlap, man.
Oh yeah. Definitely shout out to
He's a real good dude.
Oh yeah, I've met him plenty of times. I used to host a poetry event at SK Netcap. Well, that don't exist no more in Charlotte, but back when it did, it was a place called SK Net Cafe. I used to host a poetry event, and I booked Signs of Life and all them for at one of the events. And Superstition came through, met him, talked to him. It was a place called a Gerald Affair that he used to show up at, and he remembered me and talk and stuff like that. He's a great guy. and I got to set up this intro because it's not gonna sound good, but I'm not hating or talking junk because Superstition is a phenomenal MC. You know, but
yes, man, I put him, I put him out there, man, in the top 10, top 20, like lyrically, you know. Definitely in the probably top 3 North Carolina, you know. But I mean, just like his lyricist, period, man, he's up there, bro.
Yes, he certainly is. He certainly is. And I'm now what I want to say. This is something because I think about I overthink stuff, and I think about a lot of things. The reason I'm bringing Superstition's name up for this particular thing is because I believe that you speak things into existence. I believe that you I believe in the law of attraction and things like that. You got people can tell by a certain posts I make on Facebook, but
it's not true. The energy you put out there, man, is very real.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes. And Superstition is a great MC. Now you know how Tupac always had songs about him, you know, him dying or he's going to get killed and this and that. He's watching for his back, and then he's dead. I have a theory about Superstition. And I haven't heard all of Superstition's catalog, but I've heard a good amount of it. Superstition, his first LP. I don't know if he had an LP before that, but I know his first was called 7 Years Bad Luck, and he had the song "The Waiting Period." I believe that was the lead single, "The Waiting Period."
That was the one that came before. That came before Chain Letters, right?
That came before Chain Letters. Cause I think.
All right, reset.
Yeah, and then
that was Chain Letters is a sophomore album,
yeah, because he had that's the one that had Jake One produced tracks on there and Ill Mind and stuff like that. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
They were dope. All of it dope. But when I listen to Super, a lot of his tracks, a lot of his lyrics are and I guess that was his sting, his shtick or whatever. He has songs about not making it. He has songs about people sleeping on him. He has songs about people. He's the greatest, but nobody's checking for him. He says that all through a lot of his lyrics, and that's kind of it's like okay, that's kind of how his career kind of played out. He's the dopest MC. A lot of people haven't heard of, you know, and that's not. I'm not talking junk. I'm not talking, you know, anything like that. I believe that it's kind of like it's almost kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not saying I know his career. He's probably. I'm not shitting on his career.
He's definitely hit some milestones in his career,
Yeah.
man. Like and depending on the circle you're talking to, because anybody that has any kind of knowledge of hip hop, man, like they recognize Superstition as he's acknowledged. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it's the kind of thing he's done tracks with, man. Anybody you can imagine doing tracks with.
KRS.
You know, like on an official level, dude. Like, yeah. So I mean, like, he's toured internationally. You know, so I mean, like, I would say he's probably, because he's definitely on a different tier from, well, obviously for me. But he's even, man, I'd say he's just below that radar you're talking about where people would say, oh, he made it. Like, I'd say he's maybe, I was just, okay, Rhapsody just had like a screening for her episode of Rap on Netflix. And she had a Q&A afterwards. And during that Q&A, one of the things she said is, you know, that there are people, you know, who they found a comfortable lane in hip-hop, even though they're not so, quote-unquote, famous, they're very profitable at what they're doing, you know, and very comfortable doing it. I would say, man, Superstition is probably on that level, man.
Yeah.
You know, where he's been able to carve out a definite place. He's been able to carve out his place in hip-hop.
Oh, yeah.
Unquestionable. Like, you can't question him as an MC, as a lyricist, as far as moves he's made. He's definitely, man, traveled the planet. He's done, you know, and the people that we grew up listening to definitely recognize him.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, like, I guess, man, it depends on what you want out of it, man. Like, or what, I don't think he's interested in the fame, the viral fame, the, you know, being the damn, you know, Emmy nominated or whatever, you know, like, I think he's found a comfortable lane. Got you.
Yeah, I agree, because, you know, I'm not saying at all that he hasn't. He's Yeah, he's done.
He's not Hove level, but he's definitely successful.
Yes, he is definitely successful. Yes, very successful. So yeah, definitely shout out to Supastition. But I just kind of want to throw that theory out there. Anybody that's listening, definitely put some comments down there. Let us know what you think. If you think what I said, not Jay, you full of shit with that one. Or no, I can kind of see it. And like I said, he's not Hove level, but he talks about in a lot of songs being a slept on MC, and he does have like a cult following, but slept on among like other people.
I believe, man, to get to like I'm not saying successful, but it was definitely an uphill battle for him to get there.
Yes. Yeah. But he could definitely rap better than me, so I wouldn't want to battle him. I don't have his talent. If I,
hey, you and me both, bro. Like I said, I'm a fan first, dude. Super, yeah, I ride some Super, man.
Oh yes, big shout out, man. I've spoken to him many times throughout my. I've spoken to him many times, and he's always been a great guy. So if Superstition's listening, I'm not, talking shit. I just wanted to kind of throw a theory that I had in my mind out there,
Hey, if you are listening, what up, Candace? Ghost Star.
Oh yes. Another thing I want to say too is there's a act here in Charlotte, and I've been kind of out of the scene because I've been mostly doing what I do. There was a group. I don't know if you heard them. They're called Eyes of the Elder.
Eyes of the Elder?
Yeah.
Nah, never heard.
Okay, yeah. They
You said it's like an acting troupe or something?
No. They're a hip hop group.
Oh, okay. I thought you said actor. My bad.
Oh no. I didn't know. They've been. I don't know if what they're doing now. If they're still out in the scene. Making music or whatever, but they were pretty big in Charlotte around 2006-ish, 2000, I guess between 2003, 2004, 2005, and I don't know what they're doing now. They may have, they're just chilling or something right now, but
Right.
But they had every venue they played in Charlotte, they packed it out. It was people they would pack it up in the venue would crack in half and all the people spill out. So they had it packed. The reason I'm bringing them up is because one of the promoters found out kind of a formula that they have. Why they have and they have fans. It's not like how some artists have they cousins and they grandma and stuff come out and rock with them, or they neighbor.
Right. They're friends, close friends and family type stuff.
Yeah.
Nah, I feel you.
Yeah, they got.
You talking about fans actual music lovers that when they hear that this person's coming to town, they come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a promoter that was talking to me, and he said he believes he knows their formula and why they're so successful. And it's not necessarily that their music is exceptionally hotter than anyone else's music. They make exceptionally hot music, but it's a lot of hot artists to can choose from. That wasn't doing as well as they were.
Right.
This is what they do, and this is what I see a lot of artists do the opposite of. What Oz the Elders did was they were not really like politicians. They were more they actually got out there and kind of made fans. I guess like politicians. They shook hands, kissed babies. They
campaign.
Yeah, they really campaign. They really, and not just campaign. It was more come party with us. We're doing a show at blank, on Sunset Street. Come party with us. Come rock with us. Come on out. It's going to be a great show. And that kind of spread. It's not like they're coming to see a hip hop show, but it's people are coming. They presented it like people. You're gonna come and have fun. You're gonna drink and smoke, and you're gonna eat with us, and we're gonna have a good time. Now other artists, MC Get Busies and all that, they do the same, pretty much the same thing. When they're passing out flyers, they're telling people to come out to the show. They're saying, "Hey, check me out, support me, check me out, come support me, check me out, check me out, check me out," and it's it's that approach, I think, is off-putting to a lot of and it's not like it's not like the people who are non-hip. I mean, the people that are just regular everyday fans are thinking about it that hard. But it's kind of like it doesn't make you want to. It's like, okay, who are you? Why should I support? You know, I mean, I like good music, but I haven't. Why should I invest to come out?
I agree, man. Like the wording is key. There's branding, and then there's like your diplomacy, like your wording and how you put things and how you connect to people. And and that's something that like anybody who's ever seen like one of my live shows, man, it's like I'm not, that's kind of one of the things that the people that I could say come out when they hear I have a show, that's probably wise because, man, like I connect with people on a very personal level, just on a level. We just saw people's in the building together. Just so happens there's a show going on. But between songs, man, I'm talking to y'all, I'm just talking to people, man. Mm-hmm. And we're having a good time, and so like getting through the stigma of dealing with all of the because I'm not talking about other artists. I'm not talking about trying to get other artists to support what I'm doing type things, because that's when you got to deal with the cool people, the damn too cool school faces sitting there with the orange cards, this, that, and the third. You're not part of my clique. You're not my mans and them and all that. But now I'm just talking to everyday people. Mm-hmm. When you're talking to everyday people and you talk to them as everyday people, then yeah, man, like, you can attract bees better with honey than vinegar, bro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that also segues into my next talking point as well. I don't know how to really. I had a little brain fart. I apologize.
Oh, you good?
Yeah, like what you said. A lot of the shows, a lot of the hip hop shows, when you go to them, it's rarely like fans. It's either the girlfriend of the artist and their people and their close friends and neighbors, or it's like primarily other artists are there. And if it's not other artists, it's packed with guys like me. You know what I'm saying? Who have business there or something,
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I seem to see at all these independent, underground hip hop shows. Is just other artists, and they're not even supporting other artists. They're there to network. They don't really care about they're not even becoming fans of what they're listening to. They're kind of like, okay, when he gets off stage, I'm gonna say let's collab or something, or hey, what studio?
Right. That's go ahead.
No, go into, because you can go into, and I'll follow up with the question.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, you can say what you're going to say, and I'll follow up with the question.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's, like, where again, having to take it outside of here. Like, even if I went to, like, Greensboro, Charlotte did a show, I get the music lovers more so than I get other artists just waiting to do them. You know what I mean? And that's, like I said, man, getting back to, Raleigh is hit or miss. But once I start getting outside of Raleigh, once we hit this tour, man, like anytime I've ever been to Portland, man, anytime I've ever been to Florida, man, like, or Baton Rouge or any of the places we end up, man, like the artists show up for the show and they all push the show like they have investment in the show. But then on top of that are people that don't have anything to do with recording or performing or any of that. They're just there to see a good show. Mm-hmm. And connect with, you tend to connect with those people, man. Like I've had people like, first time I went to Portland, Maine, bro. And I would say, man, Portland, Maine probably got one of the loudest hip hop scenes I've ever seen. Peace to Ben Shore and peace to Ill by Instinct and Chupacabra and all the people out there, man. But anytime I ever gone up to New England, to Portland, Maine, dog, like the first time I went up there, for one thing, you wouldn't expect them to have a dope hip-hop scene, bro. But my first time going there, we were rocking at a spot called The Asylum. First thing you notice about it when you get up there, graffiti artists come from all over the country to tag out there, man. Like, they got Welcome to Portland. A big mural says Welcome to Portland, and each letter of the word Portland is a different graph artist. It was like, you could already tell that hip-hop was in the building. Hip-hop was on the building. So, man, I'm in there. It's 30 minutes before setup, man, and you already got the DJ spinning and B-boys are breaking before the show even starts, man. Like, I got shirts for sale, and CDs for sale, and I'm sitting out selling merch, and I haven't even hit the stage yet. Like, I haven't even performed. I don't expect that. I expect that have to earn my support, which I don't have a problem with at all. The cats up there, man, they're just like, man, yeah, man, nah, you're here. You know what I mean? I will go ahead and give you the benefit of the doubt, but you hip hop. Let me go ahead and get some of the shirt.
Yeah.
You ain't CD. I got people in Herndon, Virginia is another one, man. Anytime I ever around Herndon, it's been like 150, 200 people at a spot called the Carpool. And they're just there to see a good show, man. I got people holding up my CD, man, before I take the stage, man, because they just like that down to have a good time, bro. And then, you know, it's on me to hold true to that. It's on me to, you know, show them it wasn't for nothing, so to speak.
Oh yeah. Now let me ask you, why do you think it's like that in those spots as opposed to here? Like, why do you think that's the culture? What's in the air that's making it?
Something, and I was about to say something in the water. I have no idea, bro.
Yeah, because I believe there's something to it. It's something psychological to it that we may not know. It's something, because like every region seems to have its thing. Even if it, like, even outside of hip hop, even just like I'm talking about, like why does racism is like more racism is everywhere, no doubt, but it's like, why is it more prevalent in certain areas, or why is a certain like, okay, like even think like gold diggers. Why are gold diggers mostly in certain cities? I guess it's because where all the rich guys are. But you know, it's like it's something making those things happen. Like it's something like rooted in the culture.
There's some correlation.
Yeah.
I know at least with racism, I know that's got to be because of the way slavery spread back in the day. South is where all the plantations were. North was about industry. But the thing I do hear is that up north, the racism is more subtle. At least down south, you know cats hate you.
Yeah.
Up north, it might be a little more disguised. You know, but there's genuine people out there that show mad love. You know what I mean? I've never had anything but a good experience, but there's always a flip side. You know, but at least with racism, man, like it's more blatant down here because this is South, bro.
Exactly.
You know, but gold diggers, like you said, is probably like they found the sugar daddies. You know what I mean? They're at this major centers where the sugar daddies be hanging out or whatever.
Exactly.
But as far as like music or art and that kind of thing, I do not know, bro. There's got to be something in the water, bro, or a lot of insecure people.
Exactly.
But I will say salute to the spots here in North Carolina that do hold it down for theirs, man. Like, peace to the homies over at Snug Harbor, Nocturnal, Blackwoods, man. Y'all already fam. They just had like their wedding anniversary, and they had Mr. Dibbs as their personal DJ, man. So like, then, you know, I got to experience that because that's fam. But at the same time, dog, they hip hop as fuck. And everybody in that band, Mr. Aswell, Noah Luz, is like, yo, they're the homies, man.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say that their crowd, man, them cats will come out rain, sleet, or shine.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
And they've been building it for years. Cause I was, you know, I'm in my mid 30s now. I was 19 years old when I met Scott. You know, Scott Blackwood. I was, you know, and they used to do events at this place called the Hungry Duck. And they were called the Dominant Seven. Me and Atwell, we're around the same age.
Oh, you're probably talking about when Scott was actually still MCing and rhyming.
Yeah, he was still MCing back.
I know he was the spit.
Yeah. And they've been building it since, like, they've been consistent. They're, you know, shout out, they're like a staple in the hip hop scene here in Charlotte. I rocked with all of them, man. J-Cat. J-Cat was the first one to show me love and introduce me to everybody, and it's been on ever since. I haven't been up to Snug Harbor in a while because I usually got my own business on Monday. You know, I'm taking care of, but
man, well, if you can find a way, man, Monday, May 7th, me and Sharp, Phantom Blade, I told you that the side project that I'm a part of, we're going to be opening up for the Perceptionists over there, man.
Oh, I'm already there. Whatever I got going on, it could wait. I'm going to you. That's going down. Yes.
Because Miss Olivia Acrobatic, man, like, and yeah, that's another thing that's a byproduct of support or the lack thereof. Because when the big acts, I've been very fortunate to be able to bring big acts down, man. Starting the first big act I was ever really able to bring down on my own, one of them let's see, there was Ken Starr and Kev Brown, but after that I brought in Capadonna. And ever since, yeah, and to Raleigh, and it was a dope show, man. And ever since then, whenever like the bigger acts, start coming down because of what I had done with Wednesday Night Live with the Tribe, which really was just an extension of me making my own way when it didn't seem like there were a lot of people, holding out a hand to help a brother up. So it's like I literally started with going through the yellow pages, finding the venues, talking to the venue owners, to find out what I had to do to put together a bill and have a show, and that just kind of snowballed up into me doing showcases, fundraisers, snowballed up into me doing Wednesday Night Live with the Tribe successfully for 3 years and building up a following to some of the cats that I'd had at Wednesday Night Live when they had the opportunity to they became friends with like Capadonna or somebody of that nature, and then whenever they're asking who does shows in Raleigh, they actually I was fortunate enough that they reached out to me. So I did well with the Capadonna show, and then like it was on, bro. Like I had Casual from the House with it. I've had I've had time, Doodlebug from Diggle Planet, I rocked with Dinko D. I mean, so it's like we started bringing people down. But the thing is, when you got the support of people that would show up, like, for example, with Charlotte, it's a no-brainer. When somebody wants to come down, it's like, yeah, we got it. In Raleigh, it should be that, man. But unfortunately, I think part of what it is everybody wants to be the one responsible for making it happen. And it's like, yo, it's me or nothing. You know what I mean? So, I don't care, if somebody else got something dope going on, that's cool. It's not me, so it's not hot, it's not popping or whatever. And it's almost like they not only hate, but it's almost like they try to, not just give it a cold shoulder, but they thrive on seeing it fail just so they can be like, see, you're not blazing like I blaze, you know what I mean, or something like that, you know what I mean? And that's very detrimental to the whole scene because things that should be a no-brainer, though, I got an opportunity to bring Lawrence Professor to Raleigh. And I was not able to just say, hell yeah, because I got to wait and see how this Perceptionist show with Locksmith goes in May. I got a show with Perceptionist and Locksmith. See, Phantom Blade, we're opening for Perceptionist May 7th in Charlotte. We're opening for Perceptionist and Locksmith here in Raleigh. And I got to wonder if that's going to be good because it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't even be like that. I should be able to be like, hell yeah, Lawrence Professor, bring him. But I got to do a wait and see because, cats is on their fickleness, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that's detrimental to the whole scene because when the support's there, it's a no-brainer. When it's not, then it's shaky. And then you get less big acts that want to come down, but they're looking at the team. They see everything, man. They see who comes out, and they see where they come out, too. So when Raleigh comes into the conversation, it may or may not bite on it, man, or venue owners may or may not be willing to take a chance on it.
Yeah, because, they got to, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business, and if a lot of people aren't making money in a certain area, if it's not lucrative for certain people to do, like, that affects a lot of this,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, what, as a solution, and I know that is actually one of the solutions, but it appears that it doesn't work. It's like you say, it's hit or miss. One of the solutions I was saying, I think more artists should just kind of bypass the promoters. And I used to be a promoter myself, so it's not, and I'm not talking junk about promoters. I'm just saying artists that are able to do it themselves, I believe that they should, like you said, like you did, you brought the bigger names down and you opened up for them, and you having that connection to those bigger names, that makes you more popular, to more people that probably wouldn't normally check you out if you open up for another local art or you're just on another local showcase. But if you're opening up for a bigger name, then it's like, oh, well, who is this dude? It helps,
Yeah, well, it helps outside. It helps outside of Raleigh because it's almost like Raleigh is fine with it staying local. You'll go to a local show that's just local artists, and that joint will be jam-packed. Yeah, sure, it's about 15, 20, 30 people that's on the bill or their entourage or their mans and them and their mans and mans and them, but at the same time, it's like they're okay being like, okay, yeah, that's cool with us, you know what I mean? But outside of here, cats might check for it. It might be like the parts or the people that need to notice will notice. You know, whether it's an artist, whether it's the bigger acts that reach out, you know, because to this day, I got some of the cats I grew up listening to check on me when I'm about to go on the road, or might invite me to a random party, or might check in on some bars. I just, you know, they stay in touch, you know what I mean? And opportunities come up from it. So, and then on top of that, like you're saying, you know, people, it expands my base because I could be like, hey, check out this single I got with Dingo D, or, you know, my next album got a track with Prince Poe for Organized Confusion on it. You know, and it actually might be the kind of thing that could break me into those markets. Somebody might remember me from a show where I opened up with a big artist, you know?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah,
that, like I said, that tends to be more the fans, which is what I want anyways. You know what I mean? So if it ain't artists, cool.
Yeah.
Another thing that saves our set is, man, focus on the people that do rock with you.
Yes.
You know, don't worry about the rest. So that's kind of what I'm putting into practice this year.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You definitely, you know, a lot of artists definitely have to get out of just trying to get these other artists to kind of rock with them and just, like you said, focus on just purely the fans. And like, you know, like I said, on this part of the session, I want to talk about more of the solutions on how independent artists can get out of this. Well, the ones primarily here in North Carolina. And if you're in other markets listening to this right now, and, you know, you're like, well, damn, my scene sounds like North Carolina. It sounds just like Raleigh. And you want to fix it. You're an artist that think you know, grab one of these solutions and try them. One of the things I want to say as a solution, I want to pose to a lot of artists, is that they focus. Now I know you have to perform. You gotta practice your craft in addition to just you got to be seen. I understand that, but I believe that a lot of underground artists in North Carolina, they focus on getting as many shows as they can, and I think that they shouldn't. There needs to be a part in their career where they should try to focus more on building their brand outside of doing a bunch of shows. You know what I mean? Right. They should you know, they should try to do things to get them more publicity. They should get them more blogs. They should get on more. And I'm not trying to just plug my services too for artists that want to, you know, if you want to get at me. but they.
Nah, but what you do is a very important part of it, man, because like you're saying, it's branding.
Yes.
And people think that just because they got 15, 20, 30 shows, you know, that they're winning. But if those 15, 20, 30 shows are all in the same city or the same venue or the same 2 or 3 cities or whatever, you know, that's oversaturation. You don't do that. That's bad for your brand. It's going to hurt you because then people are going to get, you know, burnt out on you. Mm-hmm. Now, those 15 to 20, 30 shows is a tour where you're legitimately going to different states and different spots and different people and connected with different people. That's different. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, that can't stand alone by itself either because you got to have something that they leave the show with. You know, you got to have merch. Mm-hmm. You know, some people think CDs are dead, but nah, bro. I get rid of more CDs after doing the show at any given place than you can even sit there and laugh or sneeze at. So because it's a tangible thing that they can take with them, you know, and even T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. That's cool. First, you gotta have some music, I think, that you can leave the people with, and then all the other stuff is good branding. You know, if you got shirts or stickers or posters or that kind of thing, you know, get creative with it or whatever. But then, like you're saying, you got to get, you know, whether you got videos or whether you get on blogs or podcasts or have DJs that are supporting your joint, like, you know, you got to get your name out there as many ways as possible. It can't just be you doing 10 shows at, you know, the same 1 or 2 venues in the same city. Mm-hmm. Because then it's just like you're that dude that's doing the show this week. That you do, you know, you just rocked the show last week.
Exactly.
You know, like you know, you got to leave something, man, for people to look forward to. So I mean, like me personally, I only really generally only do like 1 show in the area, you know, every few months, unless I'm literally opening up for a bigger act. You know, and there's a couple of cases of that going on because I actually just got booked to open up a Blueprint a couple of days for my birthday, June 3rd.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Now, yeah, like just to add on to what you're saying, you're absolutely right. In between, like you're not effective doing all those shows at the same city, at the same venue, or a couple, or even if it's different venues, but it's in the same city. Like, and a lot, and sometimes they're bringing like 5 people out. You know, it's like they should stop doing that. What they should do is they should, like I said, like we talked about, they should focus on branding. In between those big shows, they need to be getting their music out other ways and other avenues instead of just doing a bunch of shows. You know, and there was a guy here in Charlotte. He actually hung the mic up. His name was Nellis, and I don't know if anybody from Charlotte remembers him. This was like back in, I guess, 2006, that time period. Nellis did not do a lot of shows, but when he came out, he was another one that brought a lot of people because he was busy building his fan base. This was back when MySpace was hot. He was building his
Whoa. I'm sorry, just had him on. You took him out of the MySpace thing.
Yeah, that was back. You know, well, that was back when MySpace was hot and Facebook was like, "What's that yet?" You know, people didn't know what that. You know, when MySpace was popping, he used his MySpace page to get fans. He was networking. He was putting his music out there. So when he actually finally did a show in Charlotte, people came out. You know, and so artists need to do like that.
That's right. So he set the table. He set the table so he could eat. He set the stage for himself. Mm-hmm. That's good branding.
Definitely, and it was brilliant. He's actually worked with me on promotion before too. And another thing too with the services I provide, a lot of artists. It seems like it's like two types of artists. Is artists that see it as a business, and then there's artists who see it. I mean, they just look at it like they look at it through the eyes of starving artists, like they're starving artists. They're just about their, like somebody like me. They look at me like a suit. It's like, oh, he like. I'm not a shady person. You've been dealing with me for a long time, and you know from your own experience I'm not that. And but the fact that I'm an artist that provides a service, and I'm doing air quotes, can't nobody see me do them. To a starving artist, that automatically makes you shady. Like automatically, it's like, you charging for something? Oh, you're shady. But they want everybody to buy their CDs. They want everybody to buy their merch. They want everybody to buy their, they want to do paid shows, but they don't want to pay for any kind of advertising. They don't want to pay for any kind of marketing. They don't want to pay the producer for their beats.
See, you gotta be willing to invest in yourself, bro. Mm-hmm. You got to be willing to invest in yourself, or you're not gonna make it far. And I can take it one step further because, I'm surprised because you're saying like those artists, want people to buy their CDs and that, and third. There are also people who will just give away all their CDs until you give them a minute to realize just how much it costs to press and joints up. It's money out of your pocket. You could either there are people that actually almost martyrs when it comes to stuff like that. It's like, dog, you're doing it for the love. It's all for the love. But at the same time, they understand how their favorite MCs, that they'll buy their CDs. It's like it's weird because, dog, you got to understand both sides of it. Yes, I'm an artist, but there is the business aspect to it. And if I don't nurture that, then I will not be able to create art at all. I won't be able to afford it. You got to pay for studio time. You got to pay to press up CDs. You're doing shows. You got to be willing to. You get what you pay for. I mean, it's a sad fact, but you get exactly what you pay for, man. So if you're trying to do everything low budget or cheaper for $3.99, dog, then you're gonna have the damn CDs that have Sharpie on them. That you're trying to either give away or sell for like $5. Hey man, check out our mixtape. When you could actually invest in yourself, get your CDs properly press and package and sell them joints, and you're branding yourself as a professional. Mm-hmm. And you could be taken serious, and you could be taken seriously when you do things, man. Because, man, all that, man, starving artists, I mean, to an extent, you're going to be a starving artist because you got to make sacrifices to get it done. But if you're going to martyr yourself so that you can so-called keep it real, you got to understand that's not what your favorite MC is doing.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Exactly. Amen.
You trying to exist in that world, and you're not understanding how that world works. That's not good, man. You got to understand both sides of it. And if you're not willing to do the homework to understand both sides of it, you got to have somebody on your team that is willing to do that. That might not necessarily be an MC or artist or whatever. So you got to lose that stigma at some point. Humble yourself and stop being like, oh, that's not real, that's fake, this, that, and the third, and understand that if you don't like the business aspect of it, does not mean that the business aspect of it does not exist, and that you don't have to learn to navigate it or have somebody that is willing to navigate it.
And even with that, there's a lot of these artists who are hot like that, or just like very talented lyrically, and have a lot of hot songs. Sometimes those are the worst kind of starving artists, because they have this kind of warped sense of entitlement, like, oh, I'm super dope, so you're just supposed to just. But even with their music being super super dope, nothing sells itself.
Right.
You got to fast food restaurants that make billions of dollars a year, they still advertise and market. They still do that. They still pay for stuff like that. Nobody's none of these big businesses are above it. So why do these hot artists, air quotes again that nobody can see, think they're above doing those things?
Are gonna literally do all the work for them. Here's an analogy for you, man. It's like you sitting in a boat. It's a really dope fishing boat. And you got all the high tech equipment for fishing and this, that, and the third. Well, the fish ain't just gonna jump in the boat. You still gotta bait the hook, and you still gotta catch the line, and you still gotta understand how to fish.
Mm-hmm.
The fish ain't just gonna jump on that boat, bro.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how dope the boat is, and no matter how high tech so I don't care what kind of bars you got. I'm very confident and very comfortable in my ability to spit. I know for a fact that I got to do some work to get people to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that work is not always going to be free.
Exactly. And a lot of, like I said, those types of artists, they think that they're entitled to it, and they don't get anywhere. they don't, they eventually, I don't think they learn. I think they just give up, and they blame the game. They blame the politics of the game. It's
right.
It's not them.
Right. And that would be some of the school face rappers that might be sitting there with the arms crossed, or might not even come out to the shows or whatever. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Also another solution I want to throw out there, and I want to see what you think about it. I hate to be on this interview and say I have not seen you live.
All the more reason to come out May 7th, dude.
I'm there. Whatever. I'm scheduling stuff around that because I am coming out.
Research.
Oh yes. But I want to say, although I haven't seen you live, I know your music though. I know your music, and I mean, I love it.
That's right.
One thing, artists, and I don't know if you do it or not. A lot of artists don't do this. This is what I'm about to say, and they need to. I believe they need to do more than just rap. Now for the artists that do it, that just rap, and I'm not talking about singing or nothing like that. I'm not talking about I should have organized my thoughts better. Okay, here's a good way to say it. Let me just get to the point. There's this artist I used to work with named Ty Brew. Back in
Ty Brew's a homie, man.
Yes. I haven't spoken to Ty Brew in years, man. I love the guy. Ty Brew and I, we kind of had a weird friendship towards the end. But it's all love on my end. And I haven't spoken to him in years. But Ty Brew took a chance with me way back in 2005, and worked with me, and we were real tight in Charlotte. Now he's from Asheboro. He used to come all the way down to Charlotte and rock with me. Even if it was just a couple of hours, he'd come down and rock with me, and people just kind of associated Ty Brew and I together. Ty Brew wasn't necessarily my artist. He was an artist that was using my services and working with me that way. But he loved what I was doing for him so much that he just supported other things I was doing, and I loved it. I appreciate him for that. You know, I can't stop saying so many good things about him. And Ty Brew, if you're listening, man, holla at Jay, man. Holla at your boy Jay. Let's, you know, I ain't spoken to you in years, man. You know, but that's you know. But here's the thing. Enough of that. Let me get to the reason I brought him up.
You good? real quick, Ty Brew, if you listen, what up, bro? This goes.
Yes. Ty Brew, I told Ty Brew this. I said, man, you know, and I was telling other artists this too, but they didn't listen to me. I said, man, Ty, man, what you should do is you, instead of just rapping, man, you need to do something different. Put a show on. Put on a show. Don't just grab the mic, spit, and then the next MC just grab the mic and spit. Put on, like, perform. Like, I'm not talking about jump up and down. You know. And so Ty Brew took that. He was like, huh. And so shows after that, he started doing things like having gimmicks. He started doing things like, and I'm not talking about corny gimmicks, but like things that was like dope. He would have like props. He would have he would have breaks in his set to do little things. And I was like, whoa, this is a dope ass show. Like Ty Brew, a straight up showman. You know, he came out there.
Okay, that must have carried over, man, because I know like it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago because he was in China for a minute and then he came back. But he had asked me to be a part of a show that he was doing for a project that he was putting out, and he went through the whole like in the emails. Unfortunately, I had to tour, like, you know, building bridges was in effect, man. So like I couldn't make the show, but he had invited me, and I was grateful for that, you know, respect. But the whole show had a theme and a premise, and it had like people playing parts in it. You feel me? You know, so it's like it was like a production, you know, of sorts, man. I can actually vibe with that because going way back, it's funny because me and my you know, I'm part of another crew called 1100 Hunters. And we did this thing years and years ago, you know, before we really had the traction to do it. But it was probably one of the dopest shows. And to this day, you know, it was one of the hit or miss joints where it didn't have a huge turnout. But the people that were there remembered it. And to this day, anytime they know we got a show, you know, I got a show coming out, they support it. Anytime they know got a project out coming out, they buy it. But we did probably the dopest Halloween show, bro. We had like this, you know, complete with the fog machine costumes. Like we had like props, you know, like this crazy looking dentist chair type joint that could have been in a Saw movie, man. Like we just went all out with the fake blood and everything. You know. Now I don't do that every time I rock, you know, but I do definitely do more than just stand on stage and jump up and down and scream. Like I said, man, my set's real organic. You know, so when I spit, you know, I'm giving you some insight into what I'm about to do, things that, you know, that might connect to the song I'm about to do. I'm talking to the damn crowd, be out in the crowd, you know what I mean? Like, and just talk to people, man. So I mean, like it's more than just sitting up there and rapping at people. I don't like that, man. Like I really feel like if you're a performer, you should perform. You know, you should be invested in what you're spitting. You should be feeling what you're spitting and making the people feel what you're spitting. You know, whether you're doing it as a production or whether you're doing it just in the way you go about segueing into songs or whatever, you know. But, you know, there's definitely more to it than just saying the words. You know, some people, man, I've seen all manner of just, man, people that get paid to do shows, man, doing stuff like just looking down at the ground the whole time or sitting there spitting with their eyes closed, you know, or, you know, and it's just like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I feel what you're saying with that, man.
Oh, yes.
I really feel what you're saying with that.
Oh, yes. Like, yeah, that artists on the come up, if you're listening to this, that's something you all should consider. That'll set you so far apart from the pack, right? Just on that alone, you know, just doing like a show, like Ghost Dog said. Don't just look down and spit. Do something. Don't just jump around it, because sometimes they think just jumping around is it. But a lot of these artists think, oh, that's not hip hop. It ain't hip hop. I keep it, bruh. Hey, look, that all of this is hip hop.
A very wise man once said previously on keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Exactly.
So man, I feel you on that, man. As a matter of fact, this is me stepping outside of an artist and being a fan. Like I said, I'm comfortable in what I'm doing. I'm very confident in my live shows, so I actually can sit here and give props to somebody else on this scene that I feel like does exactly what we're talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, man, Juice Lord. There's a cat named Juice Lord Juice Lord Mangus, and he's got probably one of the dopest live shows that I've seen in Raleigh, bro. You know what I mean? Like I can honestly say, man, he got a couple of hype men and he spits, but the way that they get down, bro, it's like it's a performance and it's real dope. You know what I mean?
Well,
Juice, if you're listening, props to you, bro. I'm sorry I can't make it to your school album release, man. I will be in Florida representing the craft accordingly, man.
Definitely, man. Yeah, okay. I'm definitely check for that. You know, that needs hip hop needs more of that. But I guess, like I said, the ones that aren't doing this is like natural selection. You know, this separates the weak from the strong right here. The artists that's not spending money, boom, they're dying. The artists that are not putting on shows, but they're just spitting, boom, they're dying out. You know, like the strong will survive. You know.
It's true.
And I mentioned Nellis earlier on in the conversation, and Nellis is he's another artist that's like that. He had gimmicks, he had props, he did more than just spit. He even did things like he had like certain kind of outfits he would wear, not flashy outfits, but I mean like his clothes. He had like a style, you know what I mean? Like he did like a lot of
right.
Yeah,
that's all part of branding. That's all part of branding.
Yes, like a lot of artists come up there with the stuff they had on that they wear at work, you know, and be up there spitting, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they might work in a call center. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say another thing with putting on a show and a performance, man. I think a lot of that also has to do with cats don't practice.
Yeah.
Or when I say practice, I mean rehearse. When I say rehearse, I mean when I'm getting ready for a show about two, you know, some people just like to I'll wing it, you know, or some people just, you know, believe that, you know, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But nah, dog, everything in life is repetition. This is something that carries over from, I've been training martial arts for close to 20 years, and it carries over because, like, I believe that everything is some kind of repetition. And I'm not saying that you got to be mechanical in what you're doing, but I will say that, like, about 2-3 times a week at least, man, like, if I got a show coming up, I'm going to be practicing my set. Now, when I'm practicing my set, I'm not just saying the words. I'm spitting it with the same intensity that I would be spitting with on stage. That way, I know where my breath control is. I know how much I'm moving around and how that affects my ability to spit, where I need to take breaths, where I need to cut things out. And then with that repetition, you know, I know my mannerisms of things I'm trying to accentuate. Not saying I'm doing it the same way every time, but I get you get a vibe, you know, almost like a groove of your energy that is imprinted in the way that you spit. So, man, it eventually gets to where I own you know, when I say own the lyrics, I mean, like, I don't have to think about what I'm saying anymore. I could think about my delivery. Mm-hmm. I don't have to think so much about trying to remember what I'm about to spit, man. I know these songs like the back of my hand because I got repetition spitting them. Now I can think about what I'm saying, what I'm feeling, what I was feeling when I wrote it, and what I want to convey to the audience during different parts of the song. So my mannerism, you talk about rap hands or whatever people are doing when they're spitting. You know, what kind of things that you're trying to get across and what you're accentuating. So, I mean, like, all that translates, man, because, you know, like Allen Iverson, bro, we talking about practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and other cats like, not the game, we talking about practice. But nah, bro, like, you do what you practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you can veer off and you can segue and you can take a minute and be spontaneous because you know how to get back to what you practice.
Exactly. And you know, it's like, even like with comedians, you know, like a lot of some people think comedians just get up there and tell jokes. No, they write their sets. Even the ones that improvise, they got certain little things to inject, like certain little bits that they've written and stuff like that to put in.
Like, you know, it's almost like a skeleton of a set. You know, it's not like they do it to the letter the same way every time, but they got certain jokes that they probably want to cover at some point along the line. It's almost like a skeleton of something, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, like if a heckler says something to throw them off, they've rehearsed their set so much that they can tackle the heckler, tell some jokes on that, and then get
Roast
back.
his ass and get back to their set.
Yes, exactly. You know, and some some of these artists, one thing happened, they don't know what to do. You know,
Deer in the headlights, and I think that's why a lot of people. This is like MCing 101, bruh. A lot of people still do it for some reason. This is why some people rap over their vocals, and that's like the worst thing you could do as an MC besides cuffing the mic.
Oh yeah.
You know, like when people rap over their main vocals because they don't practice, so like they literally need it as training wheels.
Oh.
You know, but when you things are gonna happen, things are gonna come up, man. Like, you know, and you might, lose some bars. You can't stand there like a deer in the headlight. You got to know how to either improvise, freestyle in a way they can't catch it, or be able to be so well versed in your words that you know how to jump back on at the part of the song that you lost, on time. But whatever way you do it, you got to know how to adapt your set, and that only comes if you rehearse.
Exactly. Amen. You're hitting it. All these artists, that's listening, they should do what you're saying. They're, man, you're hitting it. But I guess not though. Let the competition keep losing. Yeah.
Well, it's the thing. Like the only one I'm really ever competing with is myself, man.
Amen.
That's funny. That's something that I know. Like talk about a cipher. My cipher brethren or whatever. One of my cipher brethren was asking the other day. He was like, "Hey, man, if you had to, in the group chat, it's like, hey, man, if you had to out rap yourself, how would you do it? And if you listen to Yo Piece to Ibis, I'm putting your question out there, bro. I was like, yeah, if you had to compete with yourself, if you had to rap against yourself, if you had to out rap yourself, how would you do it? And that just I put people gave the answers, but I mean it really just brought it out of me to answer it, because it's like that's actually how I approach writing. That's why I told him, and this is what I told him. I said, this is how I've been able to keep writing verses and songs and albums for like the last 15 years, is because I am always trying to out rap myself.
Yes.
I'm always trying to use a word that I've never used before, put it in the right context, or a new delivery that I've never tried before. Not different for the sake of being different. It's a natural evolution. It's like I'm always trying to convey my thoughts better, even if it's just a little bit better. I'm trying to get my cadence just a little bit tighter than the last time I did it. And that's, in that regard, I'm always trying to out rap myself. Like, that's the only competition there is for me, is I'm trying to do better than my last album.
Oh yes, amen. That every artist should do that. They need to become.
And anything else is short term is ego driven, and that's why there's so much click based activity going on, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I see. Because you got to become like a better version of yourself every time you touch that mic, every time you touch the pen.
Yes.
And I do that with the things I do. I'm looking for better ways to improve what I'm doing. Even when I'm working with the artists, what can I do differently? How can I increase their experience with me? And
Yes.
and fans need
that is a life jewel, man. That's whatever you can think to apply to, man.
Mm-hmm.
You would do so much better in life if you just you're always trying to outdo yourself. Like I'm trying to flip a concept better, or tell a better story, or flip a scheme that I've never approached before, step out my comfort zone. But just in life, man, like you're saying, man, and what you're doing, you're finding better ways to deliver your services to people, and more creative marketing, like guerrilla marketing strategies and stuff of that nature, man. Like that can apply as many ways as you can think to apply it.
Oh yes. Like I said, everybody, like you said, it can be applied everywhere, and people need to become better versions of themselves. I think the world would be a better place if everybody just stepped their game up.
Real.
Yeah. It would be a better place. One last thing I want to say as a solution. I want to get your opinion on it. If something you would consider doing. I think artists need to also think outside the box as far as shows. And what I mean by step outside the box, not necessarily. Like what Ty Brew did. That's great. He does that. But I'm talking about like even outside of. Let me give an example. Like performing at a luncheon for business people, or spitting at at a kid's birthday party, or a little edit version or something like that. Like.
No, I'm right there with you, man. Like like as many opportunities as you can. I mean, because for me it goes outside of just performing. I've done workshops for, I've done several at this point in time. I've done workshops for at-risk teens and aspiring MCs, being on panels for aspiring MCs and producers. Actually, it's funny because a friend of mine that lives in Charlotte, an MC by the name of Headcase, man, he put up a track that me and my brother in Tucson and him did some years back called Revenge of the Boom Bap. And we literally recorded that live in the classroom at the way that was learning lab for at-risk teens and youth and aspiring MCs, man, just so we could show them like we were running a workshop and teaching a panel on like lyricism and vocab and stuff of that nature, and then we just gave them a live example of how it goes like the average day in the booth. So like Manifest did the beat and he was running that class, and me and Tucson recorded our verses right there on the spot for the kids, right there in the classroom. I've done workshops at Boys and Girls Club. Been up to there was a hospital for at-risk teens by Maryland that we would go there and perform for, a few times. And those were paying shows, you know what I mean? So I mean, stepping outside the box, man, like it's what you're saying. You don't have to just stop with doing shows. Definitely don't stop with doing local shows. But hell, case in point, man, I'm very fortunate to be invited along, man. But like I said, me and Cesar Comanche going for the Building Bridges tour on April 12th. It sets off with a lecture at Florida State University sociology and hip hop culture class. It's my third time being invited. It's probably Cesar's fourth or fifth time going down there. So salute to the Bridges, Cesar Comanche. Thanks for taking me along again. But yeah, man, it's bigger than hip hop, man. It don't have to start and stop with shows, man.
Exactly.
And it can actually help you to be a better steward of the culture, because otherwise, man, we talk about the disconnect that's going on now with the younger generations, man. It's because there's not enough people being stewards of the culture, and that doesn't just start and stop with your show.
Exactly. Amen. Definitely. A lot of people listening to this could really use a lot of stuff that was being said. What you're saying, everything you're saying is on point. I hope artists actually listen to pretty much everything you said, or at least take something from what you said and apply it to their art, apply it to what they're doing, and like step the game up.
Yeah, true. Respect, man. And it doesn't even. It don't always have to be like some children's hospital or things of that nature. It can even be something as simple as, man, cats pulling the resources together and doing like a hip hop block party.
Yes.
Or something of that nature. But you got to think outside the box sometimes, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to go beyond, like I said, just doing the regular, typical hip-hop shows. Like I said, luncheons, seminars, workshops, stuff for the kids. Shout out to Catch More Kids here in Charlotte. I've done stuff with Catch More Kids and brought a lot of the independent artists I was working with to those events. And that made them more popular, because they're seeing and they're not just rapping. Like the artists are actually talking to the kids, feeding them, giving them snacks.
Exactly.
Helping them color.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, probably, man, some of that is even more substantial than like doing, the actual rapping part. Because like when we did at the hospital for at-risk teens, that was a performance. Those are a series of performances. But the dope thing about it is we also spoke to the kids and they spoke to us and shared their life stories and things. They've been through some things, man, that even grown folks ain't been through at this point in time. You know, and it's very powerful. So the first year we went up there and we performed for them. When we came back up the following year, we did our performance, but then they performed for us. And,
Nice.
you know, and they did, and some of them were sharing their life stories in their songs, and it was very powerful, man.
Nice, nice. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, now before we wrap this up, I want to say these are, you know, well, before I even get to the closing part, we're not even. I'm all over the place. I'm gonna edit this out.
It's all good.
Yeah, I want to say again, man. You said so many great points, man. You said so many great things. I think you need to do a seminar for MCs. You know how they can step their game
It
up.
wouldn't be like I said, man, it wouldn't be my first workshop, man.
Yeah,
You know, that don't start with average teens. I mean, like I've been on panels at NC State, Athens. I mean, like for teachers that were trying to use hip hop in their curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally done workshops on lyricism, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I mean, I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly, man. Because like I said, you're doing a lot of great things, man. I'm glad, I'm honored to be working with you. You know, I love what you do. I love your music.
Thank you, bro.
And speaking of that, since I'm a fan of you, not just because I work with you, but I love what you do. This is what I want to see as a fan of Ghost Dog, not just as a guy that works with you, but just as a fan. I'm gonna tell you what I want to see from you at least sometime ever. Doesn't have to happen immediately, but I would like to see it. There are 4 producers I would love to hear you on. You probably at least, well, I don't know if you spit, well, 4. 4 I'm gonna say. 1, Ninth Wonder.
Whew.
I would love to hear you over a Ninth Wonder track.
I don't know if I got Ninth Wonder money, bro. That might. No, I don't even know if I. You know, like I said, Cesar Comanche is a big brethren, but I don't really ask him for much when it comes to things like that. That would be probably the kind of thing where he might add the pulls and strings, and I'm not even trying to go there, you know.
Yeah, that's
because he's more of a mentor and a brethren, you know, than he is somebody to get things done, you know, on that level.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would be dope, and that would definitely be some really dope ish, bro. You know what I mean? But yeah, I wouldn't be against it.
Yes, I just want to put that out.
I mean, in this lifetime, but I don't have that connection, you know, as far as to be able to like, hey, Ninth, you know, like he used to like when he'd be out and about at shows and stuff like that, he'd dap me up and stuff. I was actually, it bugged me out because at the screening for Rhapsody's Netflix documentary for Rapture, you know, and she was talking about how at one point in the Q&A session, she's talking about how it was 15 people in the room with her at night, the day that Ninth decided to take her under his wing, and I was one of those 15 people.
Wow.
So, and I actually was on the first compilation that had her first recorded verse on it, man. So, like, I remember because she even said herself at that point that she was primarily spoken word, and she had just started rhyming. Like, Charlie Smart's Cooley Howard was actually coaching her. So,
Nice.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's surreal. Some of that is surreal. But yeah, Ninth Wonder, okay. I wouldn't be against that.
Definitely.
Who else?
Now this one I know it's gonna be a grip. I know Ninth Wonder, like I said, you don't want to bug Cesar Comanche, you know about that. I understand. But if you could get the budget some kind of way in the future, if the money's coming to you.
I definitely ain't got the Ninth Wonder money, bro, because I can't even imagine what he charging for versions to this for beats to this point in the game.
I know. Shoot, work with Beyonce and they all, you know, Grammys and stuff like. But this one is another arm and a leg. It's a legend. DJ Premier. DJ Premier.
Yeah, I would scratch. That would definitely be a bucket list moment, and I might kick the bucket if I found out it happened. Hopefully, I would get the verse recorded first.
Yeah.
But yeah, Premier, bro. Yeah, that's one of my favorite producers, man.
Man, and when you get, I'm talking like you're gonna do it. I'm gonna just say, when you get the track from Primo, you know, when you get it from him, I want you to, I don't want just like, the hook has to be scratched. It can't. I know that's his signature, but there's some tracks out there where he's not scratching, where it's just like it's like another kind of hook. He has to scratch your hook, and he has to use. And he,
bro, if I was on a Primo track, he would have to scratch the hook, man. He is freaking, he talks to cats and scratches, man. Like, I love it, dude. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Primo beat with Primo scratch on it, bro.
Yes, and he has to use like Supastition and J. Cole verse is like when he scratches it and he says it out, Little Brother or something like that. He got to use North Carolina people for the hook when he does it. That would be dope.
Shit. Hell yeah.
Yes. The other two, like I said, I'm talking like you're gonna do it. I'm just talking like you're gonna get the budget, you're gonna get the money, and you're gonna make it happen. I'm putting it out there for you, man.
Speaking of manifesto, like it starts with manifesting it here, otherwise it just starts swimming around. But
exactly.
It don't take any steps to getting completed until you put it here on this plane. Speak it.
Exactly.
Speak it, write it, whatever.
Exactly. Audible Doctor. You ever heard of Audible Doctor?
Not familiar.
Yeah, he's worked with Sticky Fingers. He's worked with who has he worked with? No. He worked with Fredro. No, he actually worked with both of them. Sticky Fingers, Fredro Starr. He's worked with. He did a joint with 50 Cent.
Did he do anything for like audience, like as a collective, or when they were doing their solo work?
Yeah, when they were doing their solo work, he did stuff for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, research.
Yeah, because I would have just said Onyx.
I was about to say, because I know if he had anything to do with Shut Him Down, bro, that was a classic album.
Yeah. He's like way after that,
Okay, gotcha.
Oh yeah. He's produced for who else? Who else can I think? He's mostly done stuff for really, really super underground people, but like the bigger placements are like Sticky Fingers, Fredro Starr, 50 Cent, I believe. He did a joint for 50 Cent.
Okay.
And that was like a throwaway kind of joint. That was just out floating around like on YouTube. He worked
like just a single went viral or whatever.
Yeah, I don't even think it went viral. I think it's one of them mixtape joints nobody know like that kind of joints. Like one of them.
Research, gotcha.
Yeah, one of them things you got to dig. It's, what else?
More for the heads.
Yeah, more for the heads. Who else did he work? He's worked with quite a lot of people, but mostly super underground people. And he may not be that. I know he doesn't have the kind of resume that Ninth and DJ Premier has, at least not yet. So he should be a little more affordable to get a track from. But his beats, man, I could certainly hear you on them. Like, look,
I'm gonna have to check for it. You said Audible Doctor, right?
Audible Doctor, check him out, man. And this is not some guy that I actually did an interview with him like a long time ago. But it's not somebody I'm connected to like that. It's not like I'm bigging him up for that reason. No, I honestly
right.
Yeah. And the last one is somebody I am connected to, and I know I've actually tagged y'all in posts together, so you know who this producer is. If not, I just gotta introduce y'all the right way then. Philonius Phunk. Are you familiar with
Philonius Phunk? Nah, I've heard what he does, man. Like I could dig it, man.
Okay.
I don't know him personally, but I have checked for him, man. Like when you put the links up, and I see anything there's on Facebook, man. Yeah, I ride to it, bro.
Yeah, the reason I keep tagging you in them joints is because not just because I'm working with all y'all, but I also tag people I think need to get together too. And like that would because I've done that before, man. Where I hear I know a couple of MCs that I know would sound good together, and they ain't got nothing to do with me or my camp, and I just go like, hey, man, y'all need to do something together, bro. Yes.
Or hear a producer and I can hear somebody's flow over it. Yeah, I get stuff like that, man. Where it's like, yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm all about just seeing the good stuff happen in the craft. Dude, I don't give a fuck. Pardon my language. I don't care who does it.
Yes. I'm gonna bug one of y'all for that to happen. That's got to happen. I got to hear you spit over a Philonius Phunk track, man. That would, as a fan, you know, is it would I got to hear that, man. I got to hear that. And I think you would do I think because he has the group Symphonic
Phoenix Force.
Yeah, you got tongue tied there. Yeah, he has that group, and you know, they do the nerdcore and they have like the fun lyrics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think, man, just jumping on a joint with them and it just kind of like be kind of like an equalizer, you know, to hear like the fun and then hear like some rugged MC spitting. I mean, they get down like that too, but you know, but just kind of like a contrast on a track. That would be a dope collaboration. I could feel it in my head. I could see it. I can visualize it.
No, I would not be against building on that, man.
Oh yes.
I just the only reason I've never taken up on it is just because I know the amount of stuff I got on my plate, and I want to do it justice or be able to speak about it at a time when I can actually follow through on it.
Oh yes. Because some people they sit on stuff. They sit on beats and sit on, yeah, you know. But so yeah, I know what you're saying. Because sometimes when you backed up, it's like you can't just get to somebody right then and there. So
yeah, because I mean, like I've got like I said, man, me and Sharp, we just dropped Beware the Phantom Blade. That's you know, like I said, me, Ghost Star and Sharp Cuts, we go by Phantom Blade. We ride together. We just dropped the album called Beware the Phantom Blade. So we're pushing that. I've got my next solo project in the works. I've got fully conceptualized and halfway recorded. So I just got to finish that. Me and Sharp are working on our next Phantom Blade joint. And any time that we do Phantom Blade, he does all the production because he's a phenomenal producer. So it's not even the kind of thing where I can solicit like, hey, man, you want to get on? You know what I mean? It's not a situation for it. I want to be able to sit down and focus on it and do it justice and be able to actually do it and put it on the project that's coming out. Because, man, like, this how crazy it is, man. Like I said before, man, like my next album's got Prince Pope of Organized Confusion on it.
Oh yes.
And I've been sitting on that track for a hot minute, bro, because it's the timing. You know, it's like the track's ready, the album's not ready. Mm-hmm. You know, and then on top of that, tour season comes up, and I have to deal with that. And then on top of that, life comes up. I got to deal with bills and priorities and all that good stuff at work. And
oh, yeah.
So it's like, man, like I got to break it down into chewable, digestible segments, man, and just do everything when it's time for it. So, I mean, no disrespect whatsoever. Yo, Philonius Phunk, if you're listening, you're dope, bro. Yo, Supastition, Phoenix Force, y'all dope, bro. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I would not be against visiting that idea in the future, bro.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring it up again sometime. That's going down. I'm bugging. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, man. Ghost Dog, is always a pleasure having you on any platform I'm involved in. Before you go, is there anything else you'd like to plug? Any shout outs? I know the the upcoming projects, you mentioned that, but anything else you want to just throw in there and let the people know?
Okay, so like I said, man, like if you don't already know, you can find me on social media, Ghost Dog MC. That's all my social media links. You can hashtag it. Also, Phantom Blade. If you look up Phantom Blade, we got a project called Beware the Phantom Blade. Both of these, my music, Phantom Blade music. My last project was Dreams of Wonder Samurai. The current Phantom Blade project is Beware the Phantom Blade. They're both available worldwide digitally at all the major retail sites, all the major streaming sites, Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, all that, Amazon, whatever you could think of is there. So Beware the Phantom Blade, Dreams of Wonder Samurai. Also, if you live in North Carolina, May 7th, you're going to want to be at Snug Harbor in Charlotte because Phantom Blade is opening for the Perceptionists. If you're in the Raleigh area, you're going to want to be at the Poorhouse on May 8th because the Phantom Blade is opening for the Perceptionists and Locksmith. If you don't know about the Perceptionists, that's Mr. Lift the Acrobatic. That's Def Jokes, Fat Beat, Thievery Corporation, if you mess with world music at all. Locksmith, he's associated with like R.A. the Rugged Man, Team Backpack. You might have heard him on Sway in the Morning. So those are two major shows, man. Like Perceptionists in Charlotte, Perceptionists in Locksmith and Raleigh. That's May 7th, May respectively. If you're around in June 3rd, I myself, Ghost Dog, I got a solo set I'm opening up for Blueprint, the brethren from Cincinnati, Ohio. He's known for his work with Soul Position. You know, that's him and RJB2.
Yes.
You know, he's an author. At this point in the game, man, he's an established MC and producer, but now he's also an author and a filmmaker.
Man.
And he's got a real dope podcast called Super Duty Tough Work. You should check out every now and then.
Oh yes. Yeah, Blueprint, man. I know RJD2 put out a joint on Definitive Jux like 100 years ago. And that's when I got I believe Blueprint. I might be mixing up my stuff though, but you're the way you laughed. I know. I think I'm talking about the right joint then. Blueprint was on that joint. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's Blueprint and RJD2, man. They were Soul Position. They did a few projects. They did a couple projects together. Man. But then also. Blueprint on his own, he put something out. It was like a seminal album called Adventures in Counterculture.
Okay.
And that was all him on production, you know. And I want to say he put that out on Def Jam. I got to double check.
Okay.
Not Def Jam. I got to check. I got to check. I don't want to give the wrong information, man. But Adventures in Counterculture, that was like his. Outside of Soul Position with RJD2, that's probably the thing he would be most known for. A few years back, he put out a real dope project called Respect the Architect. But yeah, Blueprint, man, he's out of Cincinnati, Ohio. He's coming down to Raleigh June 3rd. That's actually like an early birthday present. I just got booked for this a couple of days ago. It's like, oh, snap, that's what's up.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a Deep South in Raleigh.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Other than that, I want to shout out my brethren, Cesar Comanche, my Building Bridges Tour brethren. You know, we hit the road for the Building Bridges Tour. April 12th is our first date at Florida State University, sociology and hip-hop culture. Then we got to head down. You know, we got shows in Daytona Beach, Pensacola, Baton Rouge. Then a little later in the year, we got a festival that we're hitting up in Nebraska. I've never been in Nebraska, so I'm excited and apprehensive because I don't know if we're going to be rocking in cornfields somewhere looking out for the children of the corn, bro.
Yeah.
But Malachi, if you're listening, bro, do not murk us. We got good music.
Oh, yeah. What city in Nebraska you said again?
Lincoln, Nebraska, man.
Okay.
That's actually in September.
Okay, I got a homegirl that lives in Omaha. And,
research.
Okay, yeah, they say that the hip hop is.
Do you know anything about this? Oh, go ahead. You sound like you're about to answer the question.
Yeah, they have a real, well, actually more like in the neo soul arena. They have like a very like strong neo soul base out there. Because she's a part, not a part of it, but she goes out to a lot of those joints, a lot of up and coming singers like that. But yeah, the hip hop it's not foreign to it's not foreign to anybody now. It's everywhere. But yeah, it's pretty from what I hear, it's pretty solid out there in Nebraska.
Dope.
That's I hate to not to diss Nebraska, but it's kind of like, dang, North Carolina, we got all this other stuff, all these industries popping, but then as far as hip hop, we're backwards. But then these other places like Nebraska.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say because I'm saying this about like not wanting to rock in the cornfield somewhere, but at the same time we have North Carolina. As a North Carolina MC, we have proven many people wrong in their assumptions about us. So let me not assume what it's like in Nebraska either, man.
Exactly.
Because like I said, man, like Capadonna, Dinko D, Prince Poe, Casual from Hieroglyphics, Doodle Bug from Diggable Planets. The one thing, I've even performed for the Talib Kweli 2 days after I got knee surgery. I was on crutches. But at the same time, he was singing along by the second hook.
Wow.
And it's like the kind of thing where everybody will stop in the middle of their set. These people don't have to listen to us. Mm-hmm. You know, they could have chilled in the green room the whole time. But, man, they felt compelled to listen to our set and stop in the middle of their set. And not just once, but all these people I mentioned. stop in the middle of the set to say, man, I gotta apologize. I did not know North Carolina got down like that on the mic.
Yeah.
So, so let me not assume, man. Like, it could very well be that, man, if they're booking us in Lincoln, Nebraska, it's got to be because there's a hip hop scene up there. You know what I mean? So I look forward to seeing what it's about, man. Yeah. I didn't expect that out of Portland, Maine when I went, man. I did not expect there to be one of the dopest hip hop scenes I've ever seen in my life in Portland, Maine. But there it is.
Yeah.
So.
Let me tell you another unexpected place. Like, since we're talking about it, I just got to throw another one out there. Do you know anything about Salt Lake City, Utah?
No, but somebody said that yesterday, man.
Yeah. So I did some work with an artist that's in Salt Lake, and his joints is banging, and like a lot of the not even through him, like I started, because when I started working with some of the people online, their fans actually started checking out like Blacktopia and Southeast Hip Hop Magazine, things like that.
Nice.
And they started checking out what I'm doing. And so some of them just hit me up and started talking, and I didn't know Utah is not as backward, or not as like it is definitely like a white area, a white place.
I just think about more. I think when you say Utah, I think Mormons and salt flats, bro.
Yeah.
That's literally like the first two things that come to mind.
Yeah.
But somebody yesterday, I can't even remember who I was talking to yesterday, man, but they were like, yo, Salt Lake City has a banging hip hop scene. I'm like, word.
Yes, and they got proof. They show photos of packed shows of people spitting, and what I'm saying? I'm like, yes. I'm like, wow, they get like that in Salt Lake City. Yeah.
Word, dude.
Oh yes. I know I'm connected to a promoter out there now too, so I mean, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can get you on.
I might need to holler at you, man. Where is Utah in regards to like Nebraska? Is that something that will make sense logistically? Because we're actually connecting some dots right now for September.
I'm not.
I'm gonna have to get on the map and check it out, man.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Still, even so, man. Like I would like to get anywhere where there's a hip hop scene. I would like to go and check it out, bro. I'm always willing to expand my boundaries, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might have to holler at you on that too, man.
Definitely, please do, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start greasing the wheels ahead of time. So when you're ready, you know what I'm saying, to jump out there and get it hooked up for a show, everything's lined up,
Yeah, respect, man.
Oh yes. All right. Well, you all have been listening to the session with some guy named Jay, Ghost Dog, and